Panthers pick 39. What's the plan? The Panthers are not holding all of the cards for the second round like we thought they might. If they had picked 33 and 39, they would very much be the puppet master, the puppeteer, pulling all the strings. They aren't that because they traded the 33 to go get Xavier Leggett. Leggett. I'm going to work on that.
Leggett.
But that doesn't mean they can't still get better. They just have to react, right? They are back to, well, what happens above, right? If you would have told anybody how that first round was going to go, they would have laughed at you. I truly believe that what we're going to talk about Michael Penix later on, but I truly believe if the offensive coordinator of the Falcons tweeted out 20 minutes before the draft, we're going to take Michael Penix at 8 overall in all caps. Before J.J. McCarthy, everybody would have been like, haha, funny joke, and nobody would have even considered it a thing until it happened. And then you were being serious about that?
Man, you corny.
It's like what did you say about Endgame?
5 years ago today.
5 years ago today, Marvel's Avengers Endgame came out. So if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, okay?
Well, hey now.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to say, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, if you care. But during the press lead up to it, there was a interview where it was Don Cheadle and I think Mark Ruffalo were being interviewed. They're both in the movie. And Mark Ruffalo just goes, yeah, half of us die. And actually, in the movie, half of them are snapped away. You've all seen it, right? And there's half of us we're gone. And Don Cheadle's face gets really nervous, and he's like, "Oh no, did we just ruin everything?" This was in the lead up to one of the most secretive movies of all time. He just casually says, "Yep, we all die." But nobody took it seriously because it seemed so outlandish at the time that all of these big movie stars would die in the movie. So everybody just kind of laughed it off. I think that's how a lot of the first round would have been treated. Right? If somebody would have just sat there and said, first 14 picks, all offense, everybody would have been like, ha, ha, ha. No, seriously, so what's the movie about?
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
So what are the Panthers going to do at 39? Tell me what's going to happen at 32 or 33 through 37 through 38. With any kind of certainty, and I'll tell you. What I can give you is more of a choose your own adventure. If this happens, turn to page 37. These are the guys you're going to draft.
Old Goosebumps books. All right, let's go.
If Kool-Aid McKinstry is drafted 33rd, flip to page 207. All right, let me go here. We can do it that way. Right now, on ESPN's best available list of the 7 players at the top, right? Because you figure 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. You need 7 players, right? Of the 7 best available, 6 of them are either wide receiver or corner.
Okay.
That is Addy Mitchell from Texas, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman from Florida State. Those are the wide receivers. Ladd McConkey from Georgia. Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry are right at the top. That is an Iowa cornerback and a Alabama cornerback. And Enos Reichstraw, I may be pronouncing that incorrectly. I did watch some video of him this morning. He is a Missouri corner and looks pretty darn talented. Not acting like I've watched every game of his. The other 5 I mentioned, I've watched a lot of. They're all very good. If you get one of those 6, I'm happy. At 39, if you get one of those 6, I'm happy. You may say another wide receiver. You're darn right, another wide receiver. I said this on the Adam Gold show. I joined him earlier today. If this whole draft becomes just a festival of putting more talent around Bryce Young on offense, I'll celebrate at the festival. I'll get the funnel cake. I'll get the deep fried whatever they're selling at the fair.
Cotton candy.
I'll be a part of it. If you give Xavier Leggett and you bring in Ladd McConkey and you add that to Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen, Bryce Young is going to think he went to football heaven based on where he was last year. And by the way, look around, right? What is Caleb Williams getting? Caleb Williams is getting DJ Moore. He's getting Keenan Allen, and they drafted Rome Odunze yesterday.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems like there's a war of insider knowledge on who wants Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel more, Washington or New England. What do Washington and New England have? Quarterbacks that they just drafted at the top of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to put wide receivers alongside young quarterbacks, and you can't have too many if they're talented. Panthers, if you go wide receiver, I'm fine with it, if it's one of those three. If you go corner, I'm fine with it because you need them and they're good. And for some reason, corner was one of those positions that kept getting pushed down further in the draft as another offensive tackle or another wide receiver or another quarterback was drafted. First one off the board, I believe, was 22.
Yeah, corner. Yeah, it was when Detroit got Terrion Armstead?
Arnold.
Yep. Terrion Arnold. Yeah, they traded up to get him at 22 with Dallas.
That's so late. So if you get one, if you get DeJean or McKinstry at 39, you don't. I keep saying you run to turn the card in because you used to have to write it down on the card and run up. Now they just call it in from their like remote Zoom locations.
Yeah.
But you metaphorically skip down the aisle to turn in the card. You're so happy those guys are there. By giving up 33, they gave up the control they had over the second round. Now you have to react in pick 39. Those are 6 names I just gave you. They picked 7th in the second round. Mm-hmm. So you need even a contingency plan to that. Jerzon Newton is supposedly kind of the last of a tier when it comes to defensive line. I'm not sure that's a position of need. Powers Johnson from Oregon, the center. Wouldn't hate that move.
No.
Again, who does that help?
Bryce Young.
You're darn right it does. Then you have Moton on one side, Ike Ekwonu, who you're betting on at the left tackle, 2 brand new high-price guards, and a second-round pick at center to protect your undersized and young quarterback. Add in a brand new flashy number 1 wide receiver in Deontay Johnson, a brand new flashy first-round pick wide receiver when you didn't even have a first-round pick, and Adam Thielen playing a new role that more fits his skill set and ability. All you need is Chuba Hubbard or Miles Sanders to show up and a tight end in the 4th. And then all of a sudden you look at the offense and things are starting to be different.
Yeah. Give me a name. Like if all those guys, you got to pick one that you hope falls to 39. Give me one.
DeJean.
Okay. Why DeJean?
Because I think he's probably the 17th best prospect in this draft. Mm-hmm. And at my core, I am a best player available drafter.
Okay.
I love it even more when it matches up with a need. But I don't think the Panthers are at a point where you pass on just because it's defense, a player who's significantly rated higher than where you're picking. I wouldn't have been mad if they drafted DeJean 32 after they traded up.
Honestly, I thought yesterday, I was like, wait a second, you got all these great defensive players that have fallen down to you. I thought maybe they're going to do that because there's like those wide receivers that you had mentioned. Like one of those wide receivers might be available at 39. I thought there was a chance that they would actually go with one of those, like Kool-Aid McKinstry sitting there. Do you want to go DeJean? Like whoever fits your scheme best, whoever you like better. Like those guys were there.
I'd go Cooper and Kool-Aid as number 1 and number 2 in my power rankings. And then other than that, the 3 wide receivers.
If one of those 2 corners are right there, give me one of those 2 guys because that's a position in need as well. And we talk about the depth. You might get I've said this name. Remember I said it to Chris Lee on Panthers Playbook the other day. I was like, imagine if Tez Walker's sitting there at the beginning of the 4th round.
Tez is an interesting one.
Imagine if Tez Walker's sitting there at the beginning of the 4th round.
He might show up in bold predictions.
Okay.
A team that I think he fits in exceptionally well with.
Oh.